Imagine a civilization so powerful, its name still echoes after 5,000 years. A kingdom where gods walked among men, where rivers turned sand into gold, and where death was just the beginning. This is ancient Egypt. But how did it all start? Who built those impossible pyramids? And why did an empire that ruled for millennia vanish into the sands of time? From the first pharaohs to the fall of Cleopatra, this is the entire history of ancient Egypt. And trust me, the truth is stranger than any myth. Long before the pyramids, before the golden masks and warrior pharaohs, Egypt was just a dream waiting to happen. Picture this. 5,000 years ago, the Nile River didn't just flow, it gave life. Every flood left behind black, fertile soil, turning deathly desert into farmland. And where there's food, there's civilization. Small villages began to rise along the Nile, but these weren't just any villages. They were the spark of something greater. Two powerful kingdoms emerged. Upper Egypt in the south, with its white crown, and Lower Egypt in the north, with its red crown. For centuries they clashed, until one man changed everything. Enter King Narmer, the warrior who united Egypt around 3100 BCE. Legend says he crushed his enemies, merged the two crowns, and became the first pharaoh. And with that, the world's first nation was born. This was the early dynastic period, the moment Egypt went from scattered tribes to an unstoppable empire. They invented hieroglyphs, built the first royal tombs, and laid the foundation for everything that would come next. This was Egypt's golden age of miracles. The Old Kingdom, a time when pharaohs didn't just rule, they became gods. And to prove it, they built mountains of stone that defied time itself. The first pyramid, a disaster. The step pyramid of Djoser was supposed to be a grand tomb, but its architect, Imhotep, got creative. 6 stacked layers, like a staircase to heaven. And just like that, pyramid mania began. But then came Sneferu, the mad genius of pyramid building. His first attempt collapsed. His second bent at a weird angle. But his third, the Red Pyramid, flawless. And with that, Egypt was ready for the ultimate challenge, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Built for Pharaoh Khufu, it was the tallest man-made structure on Earth for 3,800 years. 2.5 million stone blocks, each weighing as much as a car, hauled into place with nothing but ropes, ramps, and raw muscle. How? We still don't fully know. But one thing's certain. This wasn't just construction. It was magic carved into stone. But even pyramids can't stop fate. The Nile's floods began to fail. The people starved, and the gods turned their backs. Egypt was about to face its first great collapse. The Old Kingdom collapsed, not with a war, but with a whisper. The Nile's floods failed, crops withered, and the pharaohs, their divine power shattered like brittle papyrus. For over a century, Egypt fractured into warring states. This was the first intermediate period, a time of chaos and opportunity. Local warlords rose, claiming crowns. Tomb robbers stripped pyramids bare. And the people, they left desperate writings. The land spins like a potter's wheel. The dead are thrown into the river. It was anarchy, but from the ashes came a savior, Mentuhotep II. This warrior king of Thebes fought united and reforged Egypt. His victory launched the Middle Kingdom, a renaissance where art flourished, trade boomed, and pharaohs ruled not as distant gods, but as shepherds of the people. They fortified borders, dug massive irrigation projects, and built fortresses so imposing enemies turned back at the sight. Literature thrived, the tales of shipwrecks and magic echoed in court. Even the pyramids returned, though smaller, smarter. But Egypt's curse, nothing lasts forever. And soon, foreign shadows loomed at the edges of the desert. The greatest empire Egypt would ever know was coming, and it would be forged in fire. This was Egypt's glory days on steroids, the new kingdom, where pharaohs didn't just build tombs, they built an empire, and at its heart, two names that still echo through time, Ramses the Great and the boy king, Tutankhamun. First, the conquerors, pharaohs like Thutmose III, the Napoleon of Egypt, who expanded the empire further than ever before. Then came Hatshepsut, the female king who defied tradition, wore a false beard, and launched epic trading missions for gold, incense, and exotic beasts. But no one embodied power like Ramses II. The man reigned for 66 years, fathered over 100 children, and fought the Hittites in the biggest chariot battle in history. His ego was so legendary, he carved his name over older monuments, like history's first graffiti tag. Then there's Tutankhamun, the child pharaoh who ruled for just 9 years, died mysteriously at 18, and became more famous in death than life. Why? Because his untouched tomb, packed with 5,000 golden treasures, was found exactly as the robbers missed it, 3,000 years later. But behind the gold and conquests, cracks were forming. Priesthoods grew too powerful, enemies circled, and soon Egypt would face an enemy no pharaoh could fight: time itself. Every empire has an expiration date, and for Egypt, the clock was ticking. The new kingdom's glory was slipping away like sand through an hourglass. And the world? It was changing faster than the pharaohs could keep up. First came the Libyans, seizing the throne, then the Nubians, ruling from the south. Then, the ultimate humiliation, the Assyrians stormed in, burning cities, looting temples, and leaving Egypt on its knees. But Egypt had one last gasp of defiance. Tutankhamun kicked out the invaders and restored order, briefly. Then, the Persians came, twice. And when Alexander the Great arrived in 332 BCE, Egypt welcomed him as a liberator. The age of Egyptian pharaohs was over. The final blow, Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh, brilliant, cunning, fluent in 9 languages. But even she couldn't outplay Rome. After her suicide, Egypt became just another province in someone else's empire. 3,000 years of history ended not with a war, but with a whisper. But Egypt's story, it was far from over. They've been gone for thousands of years, yet we still see their fingerprints everywhere. Ancient Egypt didn't just vanish, it seeped into the bones of our world, and their legacy, it's hiding in plain sight. Think writing was born in Mesopotamia. Egypt's hieroglyphs invented the alphabet. Greek, Latin, even your letters started here. That headache you cure with aspirin. The first medical textbooks came from Egyptian doctors who stitched wounds and filled cavities 4,000 years ago. Ever counted time? Egypt split days into 24 hours and invented the 365-day calendar because the Nile's floods demanded precision. And those pyramids, their geometry taught the world engineering. Without them, no skyscrapers, no cathedrals, no modern architecture, but their real power, storytelling. Mummies inspired Dracula. Cleopatra's drama fuels blockbusters. even emoji, trace back to their symbols. They turned death into art and made sure we'd never forget them. So next time you check the clock, read a book, or even take a selfie, remember, you're borrowing from a civilization that refused to stay buried. 3,000 years of pharaohs, pyramids, and unbelievable drama, and we just scratched the surface. Want more? Smash that like button to time travel with us again. Subscribe so you never miss an adventure, because trust me, history, it's wilder than fiction. And hey, drop a comment below. Which Egyptian mystery blew your mind? The cursed tomb of Tut, Cleopatra's spy games? Or how about Imhotep, history's first genius? Let's geek out. And hey, drop a comment below. Which Egyptian mystery blew your mind? The cursed tomb of Tut, Cleopatra's spy games? Or how about Imhotep, history's first genius? Let's geek out. Until next time, keep exploring. History's waiting.